In his roughly 90-minute-long pool spray this afternoon, President Trump also spoke extensively about Syria and Afghanistan. On Syria, the president now says U.S. troops will leave over a period of time, but didn't give specifics. Trump also criticized his now former defense secretary, James Mattis, whom he forced out early last week before his planned departure date of February 28th. The president said he was not happy with Mattis's role in overseeing the war in Afghanistan.
What's he done for me? How has he done in Afghanistan? Not too good. Not too good. I'm not happy with what he's done in Afghanistan, and I shouldn't be happy. But he was very happy. He was very thankful when I got him $700 billion, and then the following year, $716 billion. So, I mean, I wish him well. I hope he does well. But as you know, President Obama fired him, and essentially so did I.
We should point out that Mattis was not fired. He resigned on December 20th. President Trump went on to offer his thoughts on the conflict in Afghanistan and added that he himself would have been a good general.
We have an area that I brought up with our generals 4 or 5 weeks ago where Taliban is here, ISIS is here, and they're fighting each other. I said, why don't you let them fight? Why are we getting in the middle of it? I said, let them fight. They're both our enemies. Let them fight. Sir, we want to do it. They go in and they end up fighting both of them. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. I think I would have been a good general, but who knows?
Here to talk about all of it, General Barry McCaffrey, a former battlefield commander in the Gulf War, retired U.S. Army 4-star general. General, thanks for joining us. It's interesting. We spoke in the last block about Mitt Romney, incoming U.S. Senator, in this op-ed he wrote, critical of some aspects of Donald Trump's performance as president. And Mitt Romney said that one of the reasons he chose to write that op-ed was the exit of James Mattis from this administration and the resignation letter that James Mattis penned. To see the president going after his now former defense secretary in public, it is, to put it mildly, an unusual situation in any administration. What do you make of it?
Well, it was one of the more cringe-worthy moments I've ever encountered. I hope everybody around that table was just ashamed of being present. My wife actually cried over this incident, to hear a president of the United States talking in such a manner about Jim Mattis, 4-star Marine. By the way, McChrystal, General McChrystal, Admiral McCraven, these guys aren't Pentagon staff generals. They're people who grew up in combat under machine gun fire and RPGs getting fired at them. And they got to be 4-star officers because they were incredibly effective, battle-tested leaders keeping America safe. So, look, you back off the thing, and one of the dangers, the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, President of the United States, one of the things we don't want is him becoming a semi-comical figure, abusive, irrational, erratic, ignored by his allies, conned by his adversaries, Kim Jong-un. We're in a very tricky situation with this man.
Well, he spoke, obviously, coming into the presidency of the high regard he had for what he would call the generals, my generals, certainly putting the idea out there he would be reliant on them in many ways. To see the evolution of his relationship, the disintegration of his relationship with a lot of the generals in his administration, I think most pointedly with Madison, what we're talking about right here. How would you characterize this president's relationship right now with this country's military leadership?
Well, I wouldn't want to speak for the country's military leadership. I think they're going to remain apolitical. I think they're going to follow the legal orders of the commander-in-chief. President Trump can pick up the phone, call one of the 9 combatant commanders, our globally deployed more than 2 million men and women of the armed forces, active guard and reserve, and they'll do what he tells them to do unless it's illegal on the face. So I think the problem right now is, look, we got an acting White House chief of staff with no background in foreign policy. Bolton, who's a very smart, experienced guy, looks to me like he's out of the loop. General Dunsford, our chairman of the JCS, was unaware until he read the tweet on the withdrawal order from Syria. We've got a president of the United States dealing with North Korea. These people have continued to develop fissile nuclear material and missiles. And the president says he loves Kim Jong-un, this brutal, despotic character. So again, it's hard to understand what's going on. I just hope that what we shouldn't worry about, by the way, is the armed forces. They're going to do just fine. The service secretaries are first rate. The service chiefs are absolutely excellent, grew up in warfare. So the military will be okay. But the country's national security process is flat broken. Nobody's coordinating either with our allies or pulling together defense, state, CIA, Treasury, and the other elements of national power. We're in a very bad situation.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.